is Monday, the 5th of August, 2024. I thought I would do another video of my GoFundMe on my Letters from a Soldier project. And I will include links to the letters site and the GoFundMe site in my YouTube video. First, I'm starting with one of the letters in the Aleutians, where Edward J. Thomas gets a bronze battle star, which surprised my sister. She thought he was 4F going into the Army, and because of high blood pressure, I don't think he could have been sent to the Aleutians or even in the Army 4F. So I think later in life he took blood pressure medicine. However, what I find interesting is reading this thing. When I mentioned back when I was at college at Michigan State that guy I worked for said, oh, the only people that go to the Aleutians are the antisocial types, and I thought, well, Uncle Eddie was a very social guy in the family. He was probably one of the more outgoing people and generous, quiet, businesslike, but very easy to get along with. The shows on this here, Eddie is like with a B-24, I think, bombers on the Aleutians. My sister was surprised when she saw him being trained to fight in the Aleutians. He went to the Aleutians June of 1943, and it was just about the time that the Japanese, who were occupying two of the westernmost islands, Attu and Kiska, left. That wasn't until a bloody battle ensued on both sides with casualties. So this article, The Forgotten War, I entitled this webpage in the link. I have it highlighted in red right now. When you go down to the Aleutians in the site, all my topics are on the side, and it looks okay on a smartphone to watch. I have tested it out. One of the things I want to do is to make it more responsive, like some of my smaller websites I've done. This is a huge website. It's a project for me. I've worked on it for 17 years. I'll go on to another page here before I show some more pictures. This is, you can kind of see as I hover over it. For you techie guys here, this is a little jQuery. Eddie with a buddy of his, somewhere in the Aleutians, there's a lake behind him in the mountains. He had to be pretty secretive about this, and these are pictures sent home that passed the sensors. You can see, you can't see past the mountains. That was pretty important because they did not want civilians at home to know their location. It might tip off the enemy. You didn't know who the enemy was in the war. It's even today in our society, long forgotten, the WW2, especially by younger people. We don't often think about the challenges that our parents, grandparents faced. And then one more picture here. Well, this is an early Christmas in the Aleutians, and Eddie talks about listening to the radio. So I thought I'd post, this is my radio. I have it behind me. I don't know if you can see it from here. You might be able to, if I turn my head a little bit, you might be able to see it in the distance. I don't know. It's one of my cherished radios. It's an AM radio, shortwave radio. I am a radio buff. I have several radios. This is probably one of my nicest shortwave radio now. And this would be typical of a radio in the 1940s. That's why I put it up there. So the next one I'm going to show is this was a letter to Stanley, which was Uncle Eddie's cousin. They corresponded a lot. Stanley had moved out of Detroit, left Pontiac Tuberculosis Hospital, and went to California for his health. So he worked in the shipyards, Long Beach, California. I'll have more on him in my story. He is much a part of this, doing civilian work. Now, I find this pretty interesting, and this is something on my site. You can download this whole booklet on here. Soldiers were given booklets to keep them from being bored when they traveled. You don't see this anymore. I've talked to people with youngsters in the military today. They don't give you anything like this. But there are actual games that you could still do today, or have your kids do. Merry-go-round, fun for one puzzle. I have done a couple of these before, printed them up and done them. I like crossword puzzles. But it just, to me, this is something that I kind of miss. Our high-tech society, we do everything so electronically. But, square meal. I think I might have to try this one. I have not tried this one, how it works. Read the directions. But anyway, that's on there. This is next time. This is my link. Like I said, how to help me make my Letters from a Soldier website better. And I will go into more. I'd like to just kind of end this with a transition to some slides on here, and I'll explain these as I go along. Okay, this is a public domain photo in the Aleutians, a soldier. This is not my uncle. And that's my uncle. But you can see he's also at a Quonset hut. I believe this may be the theater that my uncle went to. He enjoyed the theater up in Aleutians. Like you're in war, you're supposed to be tough, but soldiers long for the movies. And I think my uncle said it's like 25 cents, 15 cents to see a movie. I can't remember. He often told me when he was alive that during that bad weather in the Aleutians, that he would often walk backwards into the wind. The winds are so severe. We'll be talking about that in a future video. But he managed to make it there. He loved the movies, and it's kind of boring up there. I really do think my uncle liked it in the Aleutians. This is another. This is a Alaskan boy from about the 1940s. This is again from the public domain. This is my uncle and his friend. It was on my picture on my website that I showed. Another one somewhere on the ice. Eddie did try to skate once. He said he fell down, and he went on a rowboat once, I guess, if the water had been frozen. But you can see lots of snow. Uncle Eddie used to say that you could see in the distance people skiing. So people, I don't know, pretty desolate on there, but I believe he pretty much said you could see people skiing. Man, this is a picture of Eddie out there. It looks like it's before the snow came. This is some Quonset huts on one of the islands, and I don't know, if this would have been Eddie's camp he was at, but you can see that, it's a typical Army barracks. And there's Uncle Eddie when he was doing his training to start with. This was a beautiful color picture that I got permission to show. These men were, I think that's Mount Kiska in the distance. They were trained to fight out the Japanese. The interesting thing is these men, when they came back from the war, became ski instructors in Colorado. Last post. I don't have one of these up here. I will show this in another video. I have a couple of these outpost newsletters from Dutch Harbor in the Aleutians, and you can download and read those. The Alaska State Library's got a few more of these too. So this was a newspaper that was put out periodically during the war. This was the map. It's not needed there. Can't see Pennsylvania, but this was the trip Uncle Eddie took. He didn't know where he was going, but they put him on a train from processing after boot camp, and he took all the way out to Wyoming, Colorado, and then up to Washington. He mentioned the beautiful scenery out there, and then from here he was put on a ship going to Alaska. I remember him talking about the waves out there and men getting sick because of the boat. Really, this rock does not like your cruise ships today. And that's it. I think. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.